Able to see him. Here's the pass. Oh, what a catch! Leaping into the air and pulling it down is T. Higgins. Burrow facing pressure. Goes over the top. Wide open is Chase. And he splits the defenders for the touchdown. Cincinnati kid, Hubbard's got a convoy, chased by Andrews, at the 30, the 20, he will score!
Who day, Bengal fans? He is Mon. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse, the heartbeat of our victorious Cincinnati Bengals. Mon, first of all, how's your week? And let's get into this incredible night.
Good. Good week. Work just like I said last week and the week before and the week before that. I'm working a lot. There's nothing I can do about that, but it's okay when the Bengals win. I don't care. Happy about the win tonight. It's a great win, playing a really solid team at home. A little frustrated about some of the events. We left a lot of points on the field, and let's talk about this game.
Let's talk about it because we did, right? It's a huge win, Mon. This is a huge win for our season. The first AFC win. Again, when we looked at this schedule coming out of the bye, everybody talked about it being murderous row. And knock on wood, Bengals 2-0. Joe Burrow healthy. Once again, outduels Josh Allen in a huge football game for both teams. And the Bengals, this again, Mon, I almost feel like these are playoff games already, right? I mean, we had to win this football game. Everyone in the North won this weekend. The Bengals, this was a must win and a huge win for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, every game's a must win when you think about it. The margin of error, there is none. With everybody winning, it's such a competitive division. We can't afford to lose a game. Hopefully that the Ravens and the Steelers and the Browns all have to play each other. They're going to cancel each other out, I hope. But, listen, it was good. I'm not here to complain, be Debbie Downer. How can you? We beat the Buffalo Bills on Sunday Night Football. Great win. But there's a pet peeve of mine in NFL football. When your team, or college football, whoever you root for, when your team is kicking 19-yard field goals, 20-yard field goals, guess what happens? That means you're inside the 5 and you can't score a touchdown. Yeah. That's not good. We left a lot of points on the field, really some untimely penalties that really took 3 points off, that cost us, good field position. It is what it is, man. I'm happy with the win, and let's go on to Houston.
Let's go on to Houston. Let me just talk about this really quick. Thank you. First of all, Andrew Siciliano went on and tweeted this out before the Bengals game. He said, if the Bengals win tonight, all 4 AFC North teams will be in playoff spots heading into Monday night. All 4 AFC North teams right now control their own destiny in the playoffs. And listen to this. This is from our guy, Paul Danermon. He tweeted this out. If the Bengals win tonight, it would mark the first time since divisional realignment in 2002 that all 4 teams in any division were 2 games over 400. Over 500, 2 games over 500 after week 9. The other 3 times, the AFC North in 2021, the AFC North in 2014, and the NFC East in 2008. My point is, Mon, before we talk about this game, how good is the AFC North? Is it the best division in football?
I'm going to say, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, if some of these teams, if Pat Mahomes had to play in the AFC North, I don't think he would. I think he would have to play some road playoff games.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we were texting all day today. The Browns defense, I know they played this Clayton Tune kid. He's a rookie. He's probably going to be a career backup. Their defense is legit. You can make an argument right now that the Ravens are probably top 2 team in football. They are playing really good football. The Steelers, I don't know how they do it. They just find a way to keep on winning.
It's crazy.
Like I just said a few minutes ago, these teams got to play each other. They're going to cancel each other out. The Browns and the Ravens play next week. The Ravens have to play 2 road games back to back. They got to play at Jacksonville, at San Francisco, 2 really good teams. We have to play them again. That game coming up on Thursday night is going to be huge. And the Texan game next week is not a cakewalk. The Texans, I watched that game. That quarterback is the real deal.
Yes.
But you know what? Listen, one game at a time. We said that weeks ago, Jake. 1 week at a time. 1 week at a time. That's all we can do. And we've won 4 in a row, 5 of our last 6. And let's break down this game. This really, it's a great win, but it's an odd win. Very odd.
It is, right?
Let's talk
about it. It is an odd win.
Yeah.
It is a very odd win, Mon, because I feel like when are we going to learn to put teams away, right? I mean, if the Bengals learn to put teams away, they're going to run away with this. I mean, that's the God honest truth. If they learn how to put teams away, they will run away with this thing. To me, they are the most talented team in football. I still believe that. That's not a homer call. It's just what it is. But they cannot learn how to put these teams away. However, Jay Morrison tweeted out, the Bengals are 17-0 in the last 17 games they were leading after 3 quarters. This team just finds a way, right? And Jermaine Pratt did the same thing tonight. He found a way. Let's talk about the team stats first, right? Because, again, we're going to talk about Jermaine Pratt and that incredible play he made, knocking the ball out of Kincaid's hands. But first, I want to ask you this, Mom, because you stand on your box and you yell and scream about this all the time, and I'm with you 100% because you are 100% right. The time of possession tonight, the Bengals, 36 minutes, almost 37 minutes. The Bills, 23 minutes. How are the Bengals able to do that tonight, Mom?
You know what? You're right, Jake. The time of possession was huge. They were successful running the ball earlier in the game, early in the game, but they struggled towards the end a little bit. But you know what? They had good long drives, but they just could not capitalize. Penalties in the first half. 3 points are taken off the field because of a false start by Kappa. On that same drive, they had a holding call. They had the ball at the 23-yard line. I think that was that wasn't after the Cam Taylor break. That was a different drive. But they had the ball. Yeah, they had the ball deep. They had a false start, 10-yard penalty, and another false start that ended up taking 3 points off the scoreboard. They ended up punting the ball.
No. You know what that was? That was the interception. That was the Cam Taylor break.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought, because they had the ball, and then it was just
we got no points.
They completed a ball to, I think, the Higgins maybe. They got the ball to the 23, and then next there's 3 penalties in 4 plays, and it's just frustrating because I feel comfortable saying this. The Bengals left at least 14 points on the field, at least, and the game should have been put away. A little bit a nail biter there at the end. Thank God Pratt caused that fumble, like you just mentioned, because that game got really close there at the end. You started thinking, we have to get a first down. We got to get a first down. T. Higgins almost broke that one pass for a touchdown. He's tripped up at the 5-yard line. And I hate 20-yard field goals. I can't stand it because we have the ball inside the 5-yard line. We need to score touchdowns. But, the time of possession is huge. In all of our wins this year, we've dominated that stat. In all of our losses, it's flipped. It's been against us. The one game, the Seattle game, we only had the ball 23 minutes. We ended up winning it. But we got to continue that trend. Good quality win. Even though, Jake, I don't think Burrow was sacked a lot tonight, but he was under duress. He was hit a lot. And, that offensive line, just give him a little bit more time because, we might have had 21 more points. But, win's a win. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but there was a lot of things that we left on the field.
I get you. Burrow was sacked one time tonight, Mon. But I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying because it is frustrating. C. Griff, 142, I agree. This is a game that the Bengals could have put away in the third quarter. I mean, just like the 49ers last week. That's why I'm saying if the Bengals learn how to put these games away, it's over. It's over, Mon. This team is so good. This defense is so good with the lead. If the Bengals can just learn to put teams away, listen to some of these team stats real quick. Third down efficiency for both teams. The Bills 7 for 12, the Bengals 8 for 15. That's pretty good third down efficiency again for both teams. This Bengals defense, Mon, held the Buffalo Bills to 317 total yards. That is so impressive. The Bengals roll out another 400-yard game total on offense. But the big stat here, Mon, the Bengals win the turnover battle once again, right? And let's talk about that Cam Taylor-Britt interception, which we didn't get points from, but that Jermaine Pratt play, again, you wonder why I wanted Jermaine Pratt back before the season, because he just seems to make plays when they need to be made, right?
He does. You're right. He's I think somebody tweeted something. I think it might have been Joe Goodberry that said it. Somebody asked him a question: "Who's going to make a play on defense?" He goes, "It's Jermaine Pratt. Who else? Because he always makes the play. He always makes that play, and that was just great. You know what? He's always punching the ball. He's always getting that timely turnover. We needed it at that time because they were entering the red zone, and that Kincaid's turned into a pretty decent player. But the Bengals and Joe Burrow. Listen, that offense has the ability to be the tops in the NFL. They just got to shore up some little things there in that offensive line. Give him a little bit more time, and those explosive plays are going to be there. He missed that wide open touchdown to Jamar Chase. That's when Jamar hurt his back. That was a touchdown. That was a touchdown. He just underthrew it. He does. Jack, I just want to harp on one thing real quick. The Buffalo Bills had the 5th ranked offense in football and the 4th highest scoring offense in the NFL. To hold them to 18 points is phenomenal. That is unbelievable. And that's where the time of possession comes in. Because listen, Josh Allen, we talk about his reckless play. Sometimes he comes up with that turnover, but he's a great quarterback. We want him on the bench. We don't want him on the field. And they only had the ball about 23 minutes. So that's a good thing. And a good job by Lou Anarumo, frustrating them and Bengals coaching staff keeping them on the bench.
And I will say this, Brian and Matt both wrote, and they both commented the tackling was very poor to start the game. And that's a very good point, because the tackling was extremely poor to start the game, but the Bengals found a way. They turned it around. Let's look at these stats real quick, Mon, for our Bengals. Joe Burrow, 31 of 44, 348 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked once, had a quarterback rating of basically 109. Joe Mixon chimes in, 14 carries, only 37 yards, struggled to get the running game going. But at the same time, those 14 carries, very important. One of them obviously being a big touchdown. T. Higgins, he's back, right? He looks like the old T. Higgins that we all know. 8 catches, 110 yards, had some big catches, Mom. Incredible plays by him. Like you said, was basically an ankle tackle away from scoring 2 on that slant. Tyler Boyd, a huge catch at the end of the football game. I mean, what a huge, huge play. And kudos to Zach Taylor for calling that, or Joe Burrow for audibling, whoever did it. What a gutsy, ballsy throw there at the end of the game to Tyler Boyd. He had 3 for 56. Tanner Hudson, Tanner Hudson, 4 receptions, 45 yards, a big day for Tanner. Jamar Chase, 4 for 41. Mixon, 5 for 31. Sample, 3 for 30, and only his 2nd career touchdown. And Irv Smith, 3 receptions, 26 yards, and a touchdown, Mom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? 8. 8 Bengals had at least 3 or more receptions. That's a great job by Joe Burrow moving that ball around, is it not? And let's talk about real quick the play by the tight ends.
I, I, I can't stop. When Sample scored that touchdown, I
Oh
just
God.
exploded laughing. I couldn't
Oh
stop
no.
laughing.
Oh
I
no.
mean, I was happy. It was a happy laugh. Don't get me wrong, because he was the last guy that I thought would catch a touchdown tonight. I mean,
And well,
if
Mon,
I
I honestly, I think he was the last guy the Bills thought would catch it. There was nobody around him.
if there was a line in Vegas, if you dropped $10, you could retire. I mean, it was great. I'm glad he scored. I'm glad, he catches a lot of heck on Twitter from Bengal fans. Great play. Go back. Continue talking about the tight ends because they played a great game.
Well, this is what I want to say about the tight ends, right? Because we all talked about the trade deadline. We all talked about, the Bengals got to get the tight ends more involved. They got to go out and they got to get a tight end. Today, we see very good production. We see 10 receptions for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns from the tight end position. That's from 3 different tight ends, 10 receptions, 101 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I got to ask you, Mon, have we got that? Have we got that tight end position solved? Is it going to be by committee now?
I think it definitely going to be by committee, and I think it caught the Bills off guard. The Bills weren't expecting the tight ends to be active and catch 10 passes today. They're expecting the big three to be the workhorses and Joe Mixon at running the ball. Especially in the first half, Tanner Hudson was wide open. The Bills weren't expecting him to catch it, and
No.
he capitalized. And good for the Bengals. It adds more diversity to this offense. Good for them, and I'm glad to see it. It is going to be by committee. There's not one superstar on the team.
I agree. I agree with you, Ben. I didn't think Sample had it in him. And actually, I mean, he made a guy miss, Mon. It wasn't like he walked in the end zone. I mean, he made a guy miss. Who would have thought that we'd be talking about Drew Sample? I mean, that was a huge play, Mon. That was a
Did you
huge play by
see?
Drew Sample.
Did you see? Real quick before I say this, 152 people in the chat. Thank you guys so much for
Thank
being
you
a
guys
part of
so
this.
much.
You guys are the
Yes,
best.
thank
Make
you,
sure
guys.
you click and subscribe to Cincinnati. We love you. After the Sample touchdown, did you see? Did you see Joe Burrow run down to the end zone? Like, what the hell just happened, man?
He's probably like, what the shit?
I know he's trying to get the ball because they give him the ball, man. Give him the ball. I think a Sample goes, I already have a touchdown. What are you talking about? I already have a touchdown.
What up, Cornell? What up? Thanks you again, like Mon said, man. Thank you guys all for joining. This is a night to celebrate. Again, Mon, it's just crazy, right? Because we are all in panic mode at 1-3. Joe Burrow and everyone in that locker room told us, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Everything is good. And damn it, dude, honestly, Mon, when is the last time? And again, I know we've started off slow here these last couple years. We talked about it on the last episode, but when is the last time you've seen a team turn it around the way the Bengals have this year? I mean, it's so impressive. It really is impressive.
Well, last year's Bengals actually, they started off 4-4. They lost their first two, and they went on that nice run of 8 games in a row. Then you count the playoffs, 10 games in a row. And again, like we said many podcasts ago, it all started when that offensive line really gelled last year. Remember, they took off. Joe Burrow was barely touched. It's good to see because it was a little different this year because we were losing. Last year's games we lost. They were close games, except the Browns game, but we lost the first 2 by 1 point or 3 points, whatever. The Cowboy game by 3. We got blown out in a couple games this year, but we're turning it around. We've won 4 in a row, 5 of our last 6. We got another game at Paycor next week against the Texans. We got to win all of our games at home. We got to steal a couple on the road. We're a playoff team. I did see that stat that if we won today, we'd have a 67% chance of making the playoffs. I want to win the division. I don't want to be a wild card.
Yeah. No.
That game that we got a lot. We got a lot of games left. We got a ways to go. We got 9 more games to go. game in Baltimore is going to be fun, and it's going to be huge.
Ty, thank you so much, Ty. We so much appreciate that super chat, man. Thank you for that. Yeah, and again, Mon, this well, let's talk about the defense real quick because, like you said, the Bills come in with a top 5 offense, right? And we talk so much about Joe Burrow and this offense and this turnaround. I mean, again, 4 weeks ago, every media outlet had the Bengals missing the playoffs, and now everyone's saying we're the best team in the AFC. It's just crazy to me. But I mean, really, and that's the turnaround I'm talking about because, like you said, last year we were 4-4, but we lost tough, close games. This year we got taken to the woodshed two games, right? But this team has just battled back. And let's talk about this defense, Mon. Jermaine Pratt, 11 tackles tonight. He was all over the field. Once again, just an incredible re-signing by this Bengals team. Mike Hilton with 10, Logan Wilson with 8. This defensive line played so well. Cam Taylor-Britt with his interception. BJ Hill gets the only sack for the Bengals. But the Bengals, I'm going to be interested to see what the pressures were tonight because Josh Allen was on the run quite a bit. I think that's the most frustrating thing for me, right? I know, Brandon, the media is a bunch of clowns. I love it. Right, for me, Mon, that's the most frustrating thing is when you see Josh Allen make those kind of plays out of the pocket. You're like, damn it, grab a hold of him. But BJ Hill with a big sack there. But talk about this defense, Mon, and the way that they played tonight and the way they played last week. Are we back to seeing this defense really being one of the best in the NFL like we've seen the last 2 years?
Yeah, I think they've turned the corner. The cornerbacks are still learning while we play. DJ Turner had a rough game tonight, but he was going against a really elite wide receiver. I still believe in him. Cam Taylor-Britt came in. He's just tough as nails, had that great interception. Somebody that's not on the stat line, Jake, I'm looking. Miles Murphy didn't have a tackle, but he was very active. He had a couple really nice pressures on Josh Allen. That was good to see because he really exploded off the line. So, hopefully they can get more out of him over these next 9 games. But our defense, it's Lou. He maximizes the talent. His schemes are unbelievable. He confuses quarterbacks. And you know what? The Bills could not run the ball tonight. I mean, those rushing numbers are a little skewed because Josh Allen in the second half scrambled, ran a couple times. But he went in. He's like Belichick. Belichick in his prime, what did he wanted to take away? He wanted to make a team one-dimensional. He took away the run from the Bills tonight. The Bills could not run the ball. And, it is what it is. I think the defense has turned the corner, and we're going to be in every game. Our defense is going to keep us in every game this year. Our offense has improved a lot, especially with Joe's health. But we just have to, like we said earlier, it was just a little uneven. Offensive line didn't give up a lot. They only gave up 1 sack, but they did give up a lot of pressures. And we just left a lot of points on the field. And we got to be better. We can't be that way against Baltimore and all these other teams we have to play.
No, and real quick, you talk about the Bills running the football. They had 68 yards rushing. 44 of those yards were from Josh Allen. 44 of the 68. You're exactly right, Mon. This rush defense from the Bengals has been outstanding. It was that way last week. I mean, they shut down Christian McCaffrey. And I think if this Bengals D-line and this front 7 can stay healthy, teams are going to have a very hard time running the football against us, and we're going to need it, right, Mom? Because the Baltimore Ravens, let's not jump ahead, but the Baltimore Ravens are a couple games away, and that is going to be probably the game of our season. That game is probably going to dictate what happens as far as the division goes. However, Zim, we were talking to Zim this weekend, and Zim brought up a really good point. The Ravens have a tough schedule, a lot of home games, but a tough schedule, just like the Bengals do. I want to give a shout out real quick to Brad Robbins, right? Because this is a guy that heard the noise the first couple weeks, and he has been solid tonight. Mon, 3 punts, and all 3 punts inside the 20-yard line. He played very well tonight, and this Bengals special teams is getting better, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, he definitely turned the corner. He struggled early on in the year, but you can see where he's more comfortable back there. And yeah, the special teams coverage units have done really well. Um, Overall, let's go back to the beginning of the season. We struggled mightily. Obviously, the offense, like that first game against the Browns, we only had 6 first downs. But Joe Burrow's calf had a lot to do with that, obviously. But what was the other big Achilles heel? You just talked about the rush defense. Teams were gashing us. The Browns,
Oh
the
yeah,
Ravens, they were just running it down our throats. It's really refreshing to see. McCaffrey's a great running back. We stuffed him last year. The Bills love to run the ball. You just read the stats. I mean, 40 yards in the second half by Josh Allen. I mean, they had 20 yards rushing going into that. I mean, before he started running around. But that rush defense is a big reason that we're on this 4-game win streak right now. And coming up against the Ravens, and we don't want to jump ahead of the Texans. The Texans they're not going to be an easy out next week. They are not going to be an easy out. But let's make teams one dimensional, and it makes our defense better. And we just, like you said tonight in the text tonight, we got to put teams away. We got to
got
find
to,
out a way to do that.
got to. Yeah, 100%. And let's talk about real quick to this the way this is all kind of shaped out tonight and this weekend. I'm just going to throw some stuff at you, okay? We have the Steelers winning on Thursday night. Again, like you said earlier, I don't know how the hell this team keeps pulling out wins. They're just not very good. And honestly, I don't want to get overzealous, but they don't scare me at all. I think that's 2 Bengal wins. The Chiefs struggled offensively, only 14 points, Mon, offensively against a Dolphins defense that has really struggled, giving up a lot of points. The Chiefs, though, they pulled out 21-14. The Ravens dominate the Seattle Seahawks. The Browns, I mean, they're playing a quarterback that's never going to see the field again. But like you said, I mean, the Browns defense is tough. CJ Stroud CJ Stroud right now could be offensive rookie of the year if the season ended today. He is a guy that we got to be careful, Mon. 470 yards and 5 touchdowns today in a big comeback win against the Buccaneers. So they're going to be hyped up. The Patriots, once again, they struggle. The Colts play the worst team in the NFL. The Panthers, they get a win. The Raiders bounce back, play the Giants. I don't know what's going on with the Giants. And then tomorrow night, you have the Chargers and the Jets, a big game with big implications for our Cincinnati Bengals, with the Jets sitting at 4-3 and the Chargers at 3-4. The AFC is going to be very tough down this stretch. And I do believe, though, right now, the Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals are the 2 best teams right now in the AFC. And the Bengals and Ravens playing Thursday night in a couple of weeks. I don't want to jump over the Texans, but it's hard not to, Mon, right? It's hard not to look at that Ravens game coming up, because if the Bengals go into Baltimore and beat the Ravens, now we're starting to talk about first round bye.
Well, yeah. I just want to take it one week at a time. I hear what you're saying. It's hard not to think about the Ravens. The Ravens game is a must win. If you want to win the division, you got to win that game. Let's just keep on. We got our first AFC win today. Let's get another one next week. Let's keep on getting better. We need Joe Burrow and that offensive line and all of our players just to get ready, and we need them to stay healthy because it's going to be a short week. We play the Texans, and then next day of 4 days, we got to travel to Baltimore, and we just need our guys to be healthy and be ready. One game at a time. We're 5-3 right now. We got a 67% chance of making the playoffs, and It's a good thing. It's good to be a Bengal fan right now. 4 in a row. It's nice.
I'm with Cornell. I cannot wait to hear what the media has to say about the Cincinnati Bengals this week. It's going to be very interesting. Before we get out of here, go ahead,
Hold on
Mom.
a
What are you
second,
going to
Jake.
say?
I love going live. I really do. But I'm having a hard time focusing at times because I have the chat up and I'm
I
sitting
know, me
here
too.
and I
Yeah,
just
I
want to
love
start
it.
laughing. I'm like some of the chats, I'm like laughing so hard. I'm like, oh man, what's Jake saying? So I put it to the private chat so I could focus. But I appreciate you guys. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Oh, it's good stuff, man. Just we have so many great comments. I wish we could put them all out there, man. We love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. Before we get out of here, Mon, let's talk about next week because that's where we are, right? We're next week. Bengals, Texans, Packers at Steelers, right? That could we could see that going either way. Browns at Ravens, a huge game with huge implications for the Cincinnati Bengals. Uh, how do you see, Mon, before we get out here again, I want to know from you, how do you see next weekend shaping up? How do you see it shaping up? Again, we're going to talk about these games on Wednesday, but right now, I just want to hear from you. Browns at Ravens, how do you see that panning out? And who are you rooting for?
I'm not giving a score. I'll do that on our next show. But it's going to be hard for the Browns in their current offensively the way they're playing to go into Baltimore and beat the Ravens. I think the Browns defense will give the Ravens fits. It's going to be a physical football game. I just think the Ravens just being at home gives them an advantage. Packers playing in Pittsburgh, I'm not a believer in that quarterback. Pittsburgh's just going to keep on winning. They really are. And I think we'll get the win against the Texans.
Austin Bang. Austin Bang. Dude, I am with you, Austin, 100%. I hate Nick Wright. Nick Wright is such an absolute joke. He is such a clown. How the hell that guy is on television, I have no idea. I love it, Austin. That is so great, dude. All right, before we get out of here, Mom, I'm going to throw one more thing at you because these stats are crazy. Listen to this. The Bengals record when scoring first from 21 to 23, 2021 to 2023. Record when scoring first. Now, after tonight, Mon, the Bengals are 21-2. 21-2 when scoring first. That's a 91% percentage for wins. That is number one in the NFL. Record leading at halftime from 21 to 23. The Bengals, because they were leading tonight, are now 25-2. Mon, 25-2, number one in the NFL with a 92% chance of winning. And the last one, record with leading at any point from 22 to 23. The Bengals are now 19-2 with a 90% winning percentage. Before we leave, talk about that real quick. Those stats are incredible.
They are incredible. I'm just having a hard time. Eric, I got to take the chat off, the comments, because I love you guys. Keep them coming. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I guess, listen, you started off with Nick Wright and people were taking off in the chat room.
Brandon, that's great, Brandon.
Yeah, it's
listen, he's such a clown, Mon. He comes out every week and he just contradicts himself every week. He talks bad about the Bengals, and then when the Bengals win, he's on the bandwagon. He is so ridiculous. He just absolutely, this is great. You guys are killing me in the chats. It's absolutely hysterical. Mon, real quick though, talk about those winning percentages, leading at half, leading at any point in the game, and scoring first. What does that say about this Bengals team?
Yeah, I mean, when they won the coin toss today and they wanted the ball first, they're well aware of those stats. They really understand it. They know what's going on. Trust me, they have an analytics department. They play the numbers like, hey, we don't want to defer. We want to get ahead of these guys. You know what? They wanted to get ahead of the Bills. They wanted Josh Allen to pass. Josh Allen's a great passer, but I think they're worried about teams controlling the clock. I said it right. Running the ball. Okay. And so,
you made me nervous. You made me nervous.
I know I said it correctly. I said it, but if they keep on, if Buffalo establish the run, guess what? It's going to limit possessions for Joe Burrow. They didn't want that. So guess what? They want to score. They want to get ahead. So teams don't run. Um, hey, I love it. That's a great stat. Let's be ahead. Let's score first. Let's do that. I saw that stat on TV. I think was it 17? What was that stat? If they scored for 17 and 0, that's right. So
17-0. In the last 17 wins, they were 17-0, which is incredible. Well, now they're 18-0, right? In the last 18 wins, 18-0. All right, guys, I do not want to get out of here. It is late. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. It means so much to Mon and I. You guys are great. We are going to be back live this week, either Wednesday or Thursday, right, Mon? Wednesday or Thursday?
yes.
Awesome. All right.
It's going to be Wednesday or Thursday. Jake, I know we're about to leave, but we forgot something. Something did break today. Pat Mahomes' personal trainer sent out some really nasty comments about the Bengals.
Talk about a clown.
He hates the Bengals organization. He just despises the Bengals, and he quickly deleted it. So everybody had the screenshot to go, "Hey, superhero, if you feel it, keep it up. Why do you delete it?" And that was pretty entertaining for about 2 hours.
That was great. All right, guys, that's another edition of the Bengals Pulse. As always, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you check us out on all the podcast platforms, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. If you like this podcast, make sure you give Mon and I that 5-star review. We very much appreciate that. As always, follow Mon at The Fire Mon on Twitter. Follow me at Coach Jake Owens 9 on Twitter. Follow Eric at eFlash with 2 H's 88 on Twitter. Follow at the Cincinnati Pod on Twitter. And of course, at Bengals_Pulse9 on Twitter. On Instagram, the same without the at Bengals_Pulse9. Mon, last words, because I see you cracking your smile again. Tell me what is going on. Last words.
No, I'm just I'm glad that we're going live. The flow's a little different. I just love our listeners and our fans and people that tune in, and we really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. You guys are the best. That's all I got to say. I wish I could put these up, but we might get banned. So
no, these are great. Keep them.
They're great. They're great. I'm being silly.
Absolutely great. And how awesome. We didn't even talk about how awesome the stadium looked tonight with the stripes, just the orange and black stripes. I mean, how can you possibly hate us as Bengal fans, right? I mean, we are the best fans in football, hands down. I'm so excited. I'll be at the Texans game next week. I'm so excited. My wife and I are going up. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be a big game. Guys, go ahead, Mon. Last words.
There was a picture somebody took. All the fans that were on the banks getting ready, hours before the game, just having a good. It was packed. It was like the Reds opening day almost. It was just wall to wall people, and you know what? It's a great sports town. Cincinnati's an amazing sports town, and it was just a great picture and a great win by the team. And Houday.
And let's. I want to end the show on this, and I just want to say, Joey Votto, thank you for all the incredible years, the 17 years. You are one of the most classy, just incredible dudes on this planet. And I'm so proud to say that you are one of my favorite Reds of all time. Barry Larkin, still that number 1 spot, but I'll tell you, Joey, you're right there at the top. It's going to be hard not seeing Joey in a Reds uniform next year. And I just want to give him a shout out. Joey, thank you again for all the great memories. You are a class act, and you should be a first-time ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he's one of my all-time favorite Reds. That sucked. That news yesterday. If he wants to play baseball, that's great, but it's gonna stink to see him in another uniform.
It's gonna be horrible.
Personally, hope he doesn't. I hope he retires, and he's gonna be a great broadcaster. He could be on Major League TV. He could be on Fox. Hopefully somebody hires him because he's going to be phenomenal at that. Everything. Something about them Canadians. Rush from Toronto, Joey Votto from Toronto. All the best come from
You
Charlton.
love Rush. You love Rush. All right, guys. He is Bon. I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Celebrate. And we got another game coming up in 7 days. We'll be here to talk about that game right here on the Bengals Pulse later on in the week. Hoo day, guys. Enjoy the night. We'll see you soon.
See you.